what are promises in JavaScript? Okay, so so for that, um, let me give you a clear example about what are promises in JavaScript. Okay, uh, promises are something. Okay, when you call a function, um, every time whatever function is returning is not instant. Okay, sometimes it is coming from the database, uh, sometime it is coming from some server response or something like that. Okay, so when you are making in response to server or some kind of database, it's not that instant. So in that case we are going to use promise. In that case we are going to create some kind of function which just returns a promise that it will return something, not instantly but afterwards. Either it will resolve that promise, or maybe it will fill, or may it will fulfill that promise, or it is going to reject that promise that your uh, your promise is not fulfilled. Maybe there's some error in the server or something like that. So this is whole idea about promises. Now let's head on to our editor and let's see that how promises works in practical. Okay, so I am providing you some use case scenario so that you can understand that much more clearly. Okay, so let me create uh, three functions. Okay, okay, or maybe two functions then, but three is making much more sense. 3 to 4 functions will make much more sense. Okay, so just const fun1, it will be something like this. This is just a simple function, you need to worry about that. Yeah, this is just a simple function. Let me change this theme. This theme is not looking great, so this theme, yeah, I don't know why this is not visible yet. Let me wait. uh, uh, yeah, maybe this is okay for you. Okay, so let's create a simple function which is console.log, and in there or maybe we are going to return a value, because whenever you are working in production it is always going to return your value. It is not going to console.log something, it is always going to return you something. Okay, so in this case we are just going to return something, a simple string that I am function 1, something like that, and const fun2 will be um, return I am function 2 here. Then it will also, yeah, so we have all these three functions. Okay, so we are going to call all this function um, in one driver function or something like that. Okay, so we are just going to create a main function. Okay, okay, this is just for calling it. Okay, at the same place, you will get that. If I'm just going to uh, console.log, so first we are going to take the value whatever each function is returning, and then we are just going to console.log that particular value. Okay, so just start that const, let's val1 val underscore 1 is equal to fun1. Okay, and const val underscore 2 is equal to fun 2, and then const val underscore 3 would be fun 3. Okay, then we are going to log that. uh, so this is it. Up until this point you have no problem. You can just call this function in there, and I'm going to run this. um, yeah, you can see there's no problem, all the functions are running perfectly fine. But what happens if you're getting some data from in function 2 from the server? Let's say you are making an API call and you are getting data from the server, from some Node.js server, or maybe you are getting data from the database, let's say MongoDB. So in that case it won't be instantaneous. It could take it would take some time. So in that case we are emulating something, like we are just using a set timeout function to emulate that. We are not going to make a API call in there, otherwise it will make it more complex. So we are just emulating something that using set timeout, that it's just pretending that uh, it after data is coming after some time. Okay, so we're just pretending in there. Okay, so yeah, so then yeah, so set timer expect in its first prime parameter function which needs to be executed after a certain time. Okay, so after that let's provide it a 3-second time. Okay, so this is how set timeout function syntax look like. Okay, so it is like function 2 will return something after 3 seconds. Okay, it is not instantaneous as you can guess. Okay, so we are just going to return something like returning will be same, that I am function 2. Yeah, it is same. So again just save it and run that again. Okay, now you can see it is saying like undefined. You can see uh, so this is what uh, promise is all about. Okay, so promise, async, await, these things come come into picture at this point of time. Okay, so currently it is undefined. Why? Because it first tried to run this piece of function. Okay, it printed out because there is no problem, it is returning that value instantly. Okay, but whenever it tried to run this function 2, it goes there, it won't wait, it is going there, it is not returning anything. Okay, so it is just returning undefined because it goes there, there is no return because it will return after 3 seconds. So it just says like oops, I got nada. Okay, and function 3, it just returns that function I am a function 3. Okay, so so to be more clear I am doing one more thing. Like if I'm returning something after this function, like I am outside function, if I'm going to print this now, it is going to print this, but it is not going to print that. Okay, so let's do that. So if I'm just going to print again that thing, it is going to print like this, I am outside the function. So you got me, what's the point. So how to handle this thing now? If I just put a async in this part now, async means it's the asynchronous thing, then it will return something different. Okay, let me check that. Yeah, now it is returning a promise. So this is where promise comes into the picture. Okay, so whenever you are returning something in the async block and it is not instantaneous, it will always return you promise. So in that case what you need to do, let me tell you. So first we need to remove this async block in there. In that case we need to return a promise. Okay, if you want to handle that case scenario, so uh, we need to um, add we need to return promise in that kind of function so that we can handle that. Yeah, so This only would handle that. So to get data correctly, we are going to use uh, async and await, okay, to get that data correctly. But this promise thing would handle that case, that kind of scenario. Okay, so I'm just commenting it so that you can have it. I'm going to share this link of my repo. Okay, um, share the link of my repo and you can have it right there. Okay, so I'm just commenting it right there. Okay, so so fun2 is equal to this thing, and here we are going to return a promise. Return, in this case we are not going to return something like a string or function or anything. Here we are going to return a promise, and promise is nothing but an object. Okay, promise, here we are just going to return a promise, and that promise expects a callback which consists of two arguments, which is resolve and reject. Okay, resolve simply means that, okay, your promise is resolved, that I have fulfilled your promise, server send a success response to you. And if it is rejected, that means, okay, your server gave me some error, here is your error. And so this is all about resolve and reject. Okay, uh, this is all about that whatever code you have written, and if that code like is successfully giving you response like 200 or 201, then it's a that's then promise would be resolved, and you want to send to the client that, okay, your promise is resolved. Otherwise you're going to send them, okay, rejected, like 404 rejected or something like that. So you got me. So this is, so how we are going to send that is like return um, sorry, not return, it would be only resolve. And in that resolve we are going to send, yeah, your promise is resolved. We are going to just going to say resolve that. Okay, but we don't want that, like we don't want that a promise to resolve like this. We want to emulate something so that we could say like, yeah, it is not happening instantly. Okay, so in that case again we are going to use set timeout function so that we can emulate that set timeout. And in that we are going to have this thing, and here we are just going to have like 300 or something like that. Yeah, 300. And we'll promise that, okay, we are going to resolve it. Okay, like your promise is resolved. Currently we are sending only that your promise is resolved, but in this, because this is always going to be resolved. Okay, but let's say you have some big server or big gigantic code, or like you are making something from request from server. In that case maybe server can respond to you with a success message or maybe error message. So success message will be handled by this resolve thing, but error message will be resolved by this reject thing. Okay, so you got me. So this is the point. So let me just move this right now. So but this won't solve our problem. Like we are facing here this undefined problem which still would be undefined. Okay, so let me show you that it still would be undefined. Yeah, no, not undefined, it should be pending, because now it is sending like it's pending means, okay, your because we got your promise, but your promise is not fulfilled yet, or neither it is rejected yet. Neither fulfilled, neither rejected. Your promise is pending, means your time is there. Yeah, we are saying. So in this case what we want, that in which function you are returning that promise. We are returning promise in this function 2. So we want that whenever we are going through it, we just want to wait when our this main function calls this function 2. We want to wait, okay, till promise resolves or rejects. Both can happen. Either it will reject the promise or it can resolve the promise. We have to wait till that point. So in that case we just want here something called await. But to use await in your function, any functional block, you need to make that block asynchronous. So for that we need to use here async, and then we can just call here await. And this await, what this await will do, this will wait till function 2 resolves or rejects. It will wait, okay, and after that it will run this function 3. So this is a whole. So just run this. So you can see your function 1 is waiting, okay, and then your promise is resolved and it is saying like is function 3. But if I'm saying like, okay, if I'm saying like, okay, your promise is not resolved, okay, and let's say, okay, if you reject it, then you can say something like reject, let's you got some error. Then you can just simply send this to like, okay, this your promise is rejected. Then let's see what happens. Yeah, we can see, oh, sorry, it's rejected. We need to add passing. So so now if I just go there and just do, it is going to say like, your promise is rejected. You can put any of your message so that your client would understand like, okay, what the error is. So you need to do that, okay. So this is the point, okay. So hope you got the point about async, await and promise. It looks like a big deal, but it's not really. It's not, it's really simple. Maybe now if you're a beginner you are feeling like it's really complicated, but yeah, it's not, it's really simple. You have to just spend little bit time on it, and you, yeah, you will be getting it. So that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed this video. Do it a like and share it to with your friends so that they can also uh, have it, and if they're facing similar problems. So till then, bye bye and stay safe.